Our preparation is kind of a broad perspective because we don't quite know for sure what they're going to do on defense. But, you know, we're looking at a couple of things that those coaches involved have done in the past, and that's really all we're going to go into with. So the first quarter will be an exploratory deal, but the emphasis will be more focused on what we do well as we go into the game.
You going to script plays, like have 10, 20 plays, or are you going to kind of freelance it to start?
You know, I don't do anything freelance, so it's all practiced and it's all scripted, and we practice situations, game situations, and we've been doing that since the start of camp. So, no, nothing is freelance.
If there was a knock on your offense last year, it's that you didn't score touchdowns in the red zone. Have you solved that problem?
You know, we're not going to find out if we've solved the problem until we get a good grip on the season. And going into the first game, we're going to focus on, you know, completions and getting first downs. And when we get down there in the blue zone, we're going to focus on scoring touchdowns the best we can. And if that doesn't happen just perfect, you know, we're not going to be let me put this the right way. We're not going to think of the attempt, the effort as a failure. We're going to prepare ourselves and our players and our coaches to do our best in those areas.
What kind of camp did Taysom have now that camp's over and kind of
I thought Taysom had a really good camp. He was in really good physical condition. So he held up, his arm held up, and his legs held up throughout the entire camp. So I'm very pleased with where he's at right now.
Do you feel with all the teamwork that you've gotten during camp that the execution is catching up with the tempo that you want to go?
Much better than where we were a year ago. Wow, we are severely advanced from where we were a year ago in that regard. Yep.
When you held the scrimmage for the younger guys Wednesday, did any of these guys maybe jump up and earn a spot in the 2 deep?
You know, I'm the last one to name names, but there are guys that during the result of fall camp that have taken a step forward. And I'm looking at that freshman class, and there are going to be a couple of them on the plane. I just can't guarantee you right now which ones they are. But there will be contributions from our incoming freshman class in this first game. I do believe so.
How big of a jump have you seen from the offensive line heading into this year?
We're a lot healthier, and boy, the guys are really fit, and it shows. So, yeah, the pace has been able to move forward, not just with going fast, but with executing their assignment and their technique at a high level. And that takes a lot of off-season commitment. And we weren't perfect in that regard, but the majority of that group did a really good job with conditioning. And so we were able to advance a lot of the scheme stuff because the guys were a lot sharper and you know, on point.
Is that going to allow you to go with the starting 5 and rely on them more heavily, or are you planning to shuffle guys in and out along the line?
With the amount of plays we run, as sharp as we'd like to be, we platoon players. So you'll see an arrangement of players up front, in the backfield, and at the wide receiver spots. There's just our design is not meant for one guy to play the whole game.
As far as going to UConn on Wednesday instead of Thursday, 2 days before the game, is that a result? Is that because of what happened last year against Virginia? Is that the thinking there? That
no. My philosophy, and this is what I experienced as a player. Coach Edwards would take us a day before, and geez, I remember road trips to Pittsburgh and seeing things in that part of the country that we'd never seen, and so that same type of deal is happening today. So some of our players have never been to that side of the country, and to go there and to enjoy the trip from a humanistic standpoint, I think is a real plus for our student athletes. To play the game and to spend a day to see that part of the country, and so it's a privilege and something that it's a nice treat for the program to do that for players.
If you were drawing up a depth chart to put in the newspaper, would you, for BYU, would you put 3 receivers and 2 running backs, or would you put a tight end?
We've got all of those. Here's our starting lineup. We got 3 backs and 2 wides. Here's another starting lineup. We got a tight end, 2 backs and 2 wides. Here's another starting lineup. We got 2 backs and 3 wides. Here's another starting lineup. We got 1 back and 4 wides. So
you're not helping me.
I do believe that brand of offensive football is unique in the country. To do what we do without a huddle, with the personnel groups that we have, is very unique. And we're able to do that because of the type of kid we have at BYU, a conscientious kid who learns his assignments and his techniques, and they internalize it. So this was done years ago. When I played, we never had an offensive playbook, that same brand of player. And today we do not have an offensive playbook. Because I believe here at BYU, the conscientious type of players, they put that thing to heart, and you really don't need to write it and have it on paper. And we're able to do all of that without a playbook, I do believe, because the type of kids we have here.
What's the most important thing when you're going into a hostile environment to start the season to minimize the mistakes and be at a high level really quickly?
Well, our kids have been working on a fearless mindset. And to do that, you've got to fill it with something. If you fill it with nothing, then fear ends up being in there. So that's what we've been working on as a program and as a team. Filling it with tasks that we're looking forward to doing. And so that's the mindset we're taking.
Pretty confident that this year, even if there is a rainstorm or a delay or something wacky like last year, will be a different offensive performance than you had in the opener last season?
Well, with the mindset we're talking about, it's focusing on the moment, focusing on the task at hand. And so, yeah, if we got some bad weather, then we'll pause while the bad weather occurs, and we'll take the field when it's available. So it's the focus on the moment. And, we've made that a conscientious effort to grow as a program in that regard. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.